This is ABC7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping our news today at noon, a top state lawmaker wants to know more about public funding at Nathan Benderson Park. Florida House Speaker Richard Corcoran is reportedly asking for a closer look at the economic impact of the park, as well as the recent World Rowing Championships, which also received public dollars. ABC7's Ray Collins is just back from the Sarasota County Commission meeting and joins us now with more on the story. Ray?
Yeah, Scott, Corcoran is a big critic of public incentives for private facilities. He wants to know more now about how much the park and the rowing competition has done for the area. Coincidentally, this morning, the executive director of the rowing event gave her final presentation on how much the races did for the region. Meredith Skirba says the World Rowing Championships generated $9 million for both Sarasota and Manatee counties, but she says she realizes there will always be critics.
There are rowing fans, non-rowing fans, park lovers and non-park lovers, and you're never going to be able to do something for everybody. However, I think the World Rowing Championships came the closest because we did step outside of it just being a rowing event and created an experience for someone who, whether they're a rowing fan or not, could come and be a part of. So I think Commissioner Hines said it perfectly today when he said, don't talk negatively unless if you were there.
So we'll have much more about the House Speaker's questions about Benderson Park later today at 5 and 6. And by the way, Meredith Skirba's official last day in her contract is Friday. After this, she's going to go work for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Scott, back to you.
All right, thank you, Ray. Manatee County Commissioners getting their first look at a proposal to purchase and operate the premier sports campus in Lakewood Ranch. Manatee County Convention and Visitors Bureau Executive Director Elliot Falcioni will present a plan to acquire the property as well as additional 36 acres that could be used for a future aquatics facility. Manatee County would continue operating Premier as a sports venue, hiring or contracting with existing Premier staff to run the facility, and the Visitors Bureau would manage programming of all sports fields.
Let's look at the economic impact that Premier Sports Campus brought in 2016-2017. Look at the hotel room night generation. Very important to the sustainability of drive-in room nights to the area.
County Commissioners have until December 7th to finalize a deal. A follow-up now on a story we first told you about last week. The Sarasota City Commission will look at rescinding approval of a new lease to develop the Lido Beach Pavilion. Sarasota Herald Tribune reporting Commissioner Willie Shaw has asked that the board consider rescinding approval to Lido Beach Development Partners. Shaw was one of the 4 commissioners who voted last week to approve the 10-year lease. That would include nearly $4 million in private funds to upgrade the facility. The discussion is set to be part of a special commission meeting planned for Thursday. And the City of Venice welcoming its newly elected City Council members today. Mitzi Fiedler and Chuck Newsom sworn in today during a special session before the regular City Council meeting at Venice City Hall. Let's get a check now on our Tuesday weather with meteorologist John Scalzi. And a pretty nice day out there. I would think everyone would agree to that, huh?
I can't imagine why you wouldn't.
Yeah.
A little bit more moisture around, I guess, a little bit more humidity if you were up during the pre-dawn hours driving around. And you noticed a little dew on the windshield this morning that you didn't have so much yesterday. The amount of moisture in the column of atmosphere above our heads is risen about 30% since yesterday. And you can kind of feel it in the air, especially during the afternoons over the next several afternoons, I think. But still, great. Still nice. Lower relative humidity, nothing like summertime humidity. And as far as the skies go, they've been really outstandingly deep blue. We've had a few fair weather high level clouds kind of move by from time to time, giving a milky appearance to the clouds, to the sky at times. But boy, I'll tell you what, behind that high level cloud is a lot of deep blue sky thanks to a bunch of high pressure building down from the north. Temperatures are a little warmer, though, because of the extra moisture in the air, about 7 to 10 degrees warmer across the region. There's where your high-level clouds are coming from. That area of disturbed weather still out in Gulf waters, high-level, low-pressure area, producing those showers that we see out there. They are of no importance to us in terms of our daily weather. We'll have still mostly sunny skies and a little bit warmer today, near 82. We'll have the complete forecast for you coming up in a few, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. Manatee County health officials are asking anyone who attended Bayshore High School and has had cancer to contact them. Rumors of a cancer cluster have surrounded the school for nearly 2 decades now. Yesterday, the Manatee County Health Department announced a health study where they'll be collecting data from former students, faculty, and staff of Bayshore High. Some say there could be hundreds of cancer cases connected to the old Bayshore High campus, possibly from contaminated water.
It's critical. We're obviously deeply concerned about what's going on with the health of all of our community, and especially when there's a concern like this that comes to our attention. So what we're trying to do is trying to see if there is a correlation. So we want to make sure we have a good data set.
My sister died of leukemia in 1999, and in 2004 a classmate of hers also died of leukemia. And in 2004, that's when we started thinking something is wrong.
This health study will go on for the next several months, with the results expected to be released by next fall. President Trump heads to Capitol Hill today to discuss his tax plan. He wants Congress to pass it and have the bill on his desk by the end of the year. But with that self-imposed deadline looming and few working days left, can it happen? ABC's Serena Marshall is at the Capitol with more.
Hoping to duplicate the House's success in passing a tax overhaul bill, President Trump once again heads to Capitol Hill today, this time meeting with Senate leaders. And it could be do or die for Republicans, as it's still unclear if they have the votes. Already, several Republicans are raising objections to the bill, from not doing enough for small businesses to increasing the deficit and the repeal of the Affordable Care Act's individual mandate.
This is not a finished product. This is a product that's still coming together on it. There are lots of questions.
Now, the latest estimate from the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office. The Senate bill will hit low-income Americans hardest, and in 10 years, middle-income Americans would be worse off. The CBO found the biggest benefits Americans making more than $100,000 a year. The U.S. Census average's middle income last year was just under $60,000. And it's not just high-stakes tax day. The president also plans to huddle with a group of bipartisan congressional leaders on a daunting to-do list. Items they must pass by the end of the year, like funding the government. Any chances of bipartisanship looking slim after the president tweeted this morning, "I don't see a deal." But between those fake news tweets, congressional sexual assault claims, and the president's latest controversial comments during a meeting with Navajo World War II heroes.
We have a representative in Congress who they say was here a long time ago. They call her Pocahontas.
The tax overhaul taking a backseat to his own self-made controversies. Possibly adding another glitch to tax overhaul, just like with health care. GOP senators planning some last-minute changes to the bill, an effort to woo some of those undecided Republican senators. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
Still to come in your Suncoast News, new developments in the case against the alleged cow abusers in South Florida, less than a day after leaders in the dairy farm community announced their cooperation with investigators. And we've survived Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Now gear up for Giving Tuesday.
Coming up, we'll take you to a holiday wonderland.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off
off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
This holiday season, share the greatest gift of all, peace of mind. Subaru is rated the safest and most dependable automotive brand, and all Subaru models with EyeSight are a 2017 IIHS top safety pick. Now during the Subaru Share the Love event, you can lease the most award-winning small SUV, a new Subaru Forester, for just $219 a month, or get 0% financing with zero down. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Keep up with the Suncoast. Watch your favorite ABC7 shows on your streaming device. Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
81-degree air temperature outside, plenty of sunshine. Dew point value coming in at 65. That's about 10 degrees warmer than it was 24 hours ago, and consequently our morning temperatures were warmer because of it. We're looking at an east-southeast wind at about 15. Now, one thing that you may have noticed yesterday is how rapidly the temperatures rose and how high they rose compared to where we started off in the morning. Well, today with this higher dew point value, our temperatures are going to rise a little more slowly. So I think we'll probably top it out today at about 83 degrees or so. Not much more than we are right now because of that extra little bit of humidity in the air, kind of limiting our daytime heating. 79 degrees in Parrish, Myakka, Wauchula, Arcadia, Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton. 77 in Longboat Key, 81 Sarasota, 80 in Venice, 79 in Inglewood, and 79 degrees in Northport. So across the region, we have a little upper level disturbance that's creating all of this cloud cover that we have out in Gulf waters, and it stretches back into the Atlantic. Now, it is helping to produce a few scattered showers around, yes, but mostly in the southern tip of the state and along the east coast of the peninsula as well. This cluster of showers that you see out here, and there are some showers underneath some of this cloud, not going to bother us whatsoever in any way, shape, or form, other than bring us the high clouds from time to time, riding on some upper level winds that are a little bit more out of the southeast. High pressure is the dominant weather feature for us. The northeast looks good. There's a frontal boundary sinking south through the heartland, really not producing any weather. The only real weather across the entire United States is located back in the Pacific Northwest, where they're still seeing an onshore flow producing scattered rain showers there and snow showers at high elevations. And we have some showers, as I mentioned, down in the southern tip of the state caused by this fetch of air coming in off of Atlantic waters, plus that little upper level disturbance. We'll watch a few of those showers actually make it onto shore over the course of the afternoon in the east coast regions of the southern tip of the state. But for us, you know, we're not going to see anything like that. We stay dry again today. A little bit warmer than yesterday, increasing humidity. And I think most of the week is going to stay dry. Now, it wouldn't surprise me with this easterly flow over the course of several days in a row, kind of pushing the moisture across the state on a continuous basis, that we may see one or two of these showers actually be able to sustain itself all the way across the state into extreme eastern parts of Hardee, DeSoto, Charlotte counties. Points south of, say, Naples have the best chance of rainfall over the next several days. But otherwise, it's going to be very quiet across most of the country, I think. We have that area of disturbed weather down to our south, and again, it's producing a shower or two, and then the Pacific Northwest. But otherwise, you know, there's just not a whole lot in the way of any kind of large-scale weather systems that are causing anybody too much bother. We have these showers, as I mentioned, down to the south. It's been kind of a wet and dreary week so far for parts of the Florida Keys, as well as Miami. They're getting some cloud cover there on a pretty consistent basis. It's really humid down there, and they're getting some scattered showers at times. So we're pretty lucky. Once you lift north of Okeechobee, you're in pretty good weather here, and you can really see why on our satellite view of the water vapor imagery. This tan color, that's dry air, and boy, just about from Fort Myers north, it is dry aloft, even though surface moisture is starting to increase. Northeast winds today at about 5 to 10, increasing to 10 this afternoon and into the evening, bring you a moderate chop. Temperatures in the low 80s for the next several days. A front works its way through on Friday. I think you'll hardly notice it, except that on Saturday, the temperatures will be a few degrees cooler and a little less humid. Scott?
I'll notice that. Thank you so much, John. Well, the Tuesday after Thanksgiving is designated as Giving Tuesday, a day for doing for others or donating to charitable causes. And while we might think that giving only benefits the recipient of the gift, doctors say that's not entirely the case. Our brains benefit. We are the giver as well. Previous research has shown that the reward center of our brain actually lights up when we give to others. Dr. Joseph Rock from the Cleveland Clinic says that human beings are essentially wired to give, and whenever something we do feels rewarding, the more likely we are to do it. And regardless of what we're giving, he says, our own view of what we're doing makes us feel better about ourselves.
There's just something about engaging with other people in our environment that reminds us we're not alone, and while we're helping the other people, that reminds us they're going to be there to help us too, and we're part of something bigger.
Dr. Rock says that we don't have to give much to reap the rewards of giving. He says that good feelings will still happen for us, even if it's a small gesture or a giving of our time. Today, the Florida Department of Health is providing free health screenings at the North Sarasota Library. Registered nurses will be there to help people who don't have insurance and find a place they can go to get health care if they need it. The health department bus will be there until 5 o'clock this afternoon. Again, this is at the North Sarasota Library on Newtown Boulevard, giving blood pressure screenings, checking for diabetes, HIV, and STD tests, and no appointments are needed. So take advantage if you need to. All right, time to head over to the kitchen now, where our good friend, owner Faz Farahi from Blue Mangrove Grill in Palmetto joins us again today. Great to have you back in the kitchen, Faz. What are you fixing for us today?
Good afternoon, Scott. Today I'm going to be preparing you a bone-in veal chop with sauteed oyster mushrooms, and then we're going to top it off with a creamy black peppercorn sauce. It's a very simple, easy dish to make, and it's wonderful, wonderful for the holiday season.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
Attention type 2 diabetics. The FDA warns of an increased risk of amputation associated with certain diabetes medications. If you took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation or one of these other serious injuries, call the Rely On group right now. If you've suffered amputation or any of these other injuries after taking your diabetes medication, call the Rely On group today. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-604-1698. That's 800-604-1698.
There's nothing like this trail in Alabama. It just goes from the northern part of the state to the southern part of the state. We see all kind of different terrains, great value, great fun. We've been coming for 18 years. We started off with a group of 8, grew to 12, and grew to 16. And we love it because where else can you get world-class golf courses with world-class accommodations? To be able to play these type of courses in this environment, and the difficulty keeps us coming back over and over and over again.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
Poinsettias are one of the most popular holiday decorations, and Urban Nursery in West Manatee County specializes in that plant, growing about 200,000 of them this year. ABC7's Linda Carson takes us on a tour in a place we call home.
This poinsettia farm was started by Marty Oberlin's dad while he was a student at Ohio State.
It was kind of when poinsettias started to become the Christmas item, and his professor was growing poinsettias, and he started growing them. So we've been growing them since the mid-40s.
This has been one of the toughest years for the flowers.
They've been through a lot this year. We had a tornado hit us here and a hurricane, obviously Irma. We had damage from both of them.
But the poinsettias came through with flying colors. Speaking of colors, you'll find poinsettias in a lot of different colors now.
They have been developed in the last several years and have gotten more and more popular. Some of it is through breeding, and some of it is where they will just find a sport on another color and use it for propagation and develop that color.
Poinsettias are complicated to raise. They grow in a special mix.
The mix that we use has like Canadian peat and bark and that sort of thing and already mixed in it. But it's, you know, they call it a soilless media basically.
They start the poinsettias in July or August.
We start out with a little cutting that we buy from South America. It's about not even 2 inches tall, unrooted. We stick them in the pots, and then we run mist on them for, it takes about 3 weeks to get them rooted out good.
Then fertilizing and pinching off the top of each flower to make it branch out.
We used to do them all by hand, and about 4 years ago we bought a pinching machine, and what a world of difference it's made.
Oh my.
2 people can pinch this whole place instead of probably 10 people taking a month to do it.
Another modern invention making work easier here.
My son found a sweeping machine that looks like a Zamboni, and we use it on these concrete floors after the crop is out, and that's really helped because one person can sweep the whole place.
They sell the poinsettias to Publix, and they're shipped all over Florida and to Atlanta. If you get one, here's how to care for it.
If you put it in the house, you want to keep it moist but not wet. They're somewhat dormant, so they don't need a lot of water once they get in the house. And then after the season is over, if they want to plant them out in their yard, they can.
He says in the well-protected area, the flowers will last for years. And those artificial ones you see in the store, come on, they can't beat this. Sometimes Mother Nature knows just what she's doing. Linda Carson, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
All right, back to the kitchen now. John is with our good friend, the owner of Blue Mangrove Grill in Palmetto, Faz Farohi. John?
Always a pleasure having you in the kitchen, Chef.
Nice to see you again, John.
Always great to have you here. Blue Mangrove, beautiful restaurant sitting on the banks of the Manatee.
That's right. Yep.
And gorgeous views and lovely food. I know you're responsible for the food part for sure.
Yes, I am.
Tell us about what you're cooking for us today.
Today what we're going to do is a very simple dish. It's actually a bone-in veal chop, and this is a prime cut, so it cooks very fast and it doesn't take a long time to process it. And then what I did was I brought you some oyster mushroom. This is a little exotic
Pick that
mushroom.
up and show that. That is really kind of
like a little different.
You probably won't find this in your local grocery store.
Yeah, you'll find it in specialty produce shops, and they have them. And the funny part about this mushroom is it actually grows on tree.
Huh.
Yeah, it does not grow on the ground.
Did not know that.
Yeah, it's on the bark of the tree. That's where it grows.
Huh.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do, simple. We're gonna just start putting our veal chop in a little bit of olive oil. And what I did was earlier, I actually just put some salt and pepper on it and nothing else, because we really want to try to taste the flavor of the veal, and also we're going to be making this sauce that's going to go with it. So everything's going to come really together well.
Nice.
And then, so our oyster mushroom, very simple. What we'll do, we'll just put it again in a little bit of olive oil.
Now, do these require cleaning or anything? They just pop, they're good to go?
Wash them, yeah, you're good to go. It's it's very clean and very good tasting. It's almost like eating a vegetable steak. And so for our sauce, what we're going to do here, we're going to just take some butter, regular butter, and of course, as you know, I always like to have my herb butter in the kitchen. So I use that, but you know, you're more than welcome to use regular butter. So just a little olive oil again in the pan, and then we have our butter in there. And so we'll wait for this to kind of like soften up a little bit.
Smells so good. I'll tell you what.
What we're going to do is we're going to add our little bit of garlic to this.
Okay.
Just tiny bit, because we don't want to turn it into an Italian dish.
There you go.
And so while this is simmering and that's cooking, and our oyster mushroom is going at it.
What would this be? Because looking at the ingredients, it seems sort of Mediterranean. I don't know. Is it a French dish? Or?
It will be a French dish. It's almost like a pois sauce. It's like a creamy peppercorn, so it will get a little bit of brandy in it. The color will change. You'll see it'll turn into like a light brown color.
About 2 minutes left.
Yes. And so then at this point, we're going to just add a little bit of salt, and then we're going to add a little crushed peppercorn. Then we have our Dijon mustard that's going to go in. And then we have a little bit of beef broth, or, you know, if you have beef broth or beef stock at home, that would always help. And then your brandy goes in there. So everything is going to kind of get whisked together. And while we have that cooking.
And do you have this on your menu at the
yes,
restaurant?
it's a special. Most of the time on weekends we run the special.
Okay.
And so as this is heating up, then what we do is very simple. We just add our heavy cream, or you can use half and half. You know, if you don't like to have
like
all
the
that
heavy
extra
cream myself.
calorie in there.
Yeah.
And so we'll whisk this, and we'll let this kind of like simmer down a little bit. It'll thicken up a little bit because of the heavy cream, and it allows it to thicken up. Meanwhile, I'm just going to flip this veal chop.
And obviously, if we had more time, but you can't really do it on TV to do this justice.
Well, I do have a finished product sitting there for you.
We did want to show that to you. This is how you're going to see it at the table, right? You serve it this way, and the oyster mushroom has kind of shrunk down and roasted up, and then you put your sauce on top of it and serve it with some mashed potatoes there as well?
Garlic mashed potato. Yeah.
Oh, looks so good. Smells even better. Haas, thank you very much from the Blue Mangrove Restaurant in Palmetto.
Yes, thank you, John.
Appreciate it. We always like to have you here, so
thank you.
Come on back
very
anytime.
Much. Nice to see you again.
We'll be right back.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
You can do something about a crime, any crime, and you can receive a reward of up to $3,000 cash. Call Crime Stoppers with information about criminal activity, unsolved crimes, drug dealers, fugitive criminals, stolen property, illegal weapons. Call 366-TIPS. You will remain anonymous. Visit SarasotaCrimeStoppers.com. Download the Crime Stoppers P3 mobile app from the Apple iTunes Store or Google Play. Call Crime Stoppers 366-TIPS. Paid for by the Attorney General's Office, Crime Stoppers Trust Fund.
The perfect musical for the holidays is live on the Players Center stage. Packed with the big band sounds from World War II, the 1940s Radio Hour is our boogie-woogie bugle boy answer to the holiday blues. Call the Players Center at 365-2494 or visit us at theplayers.org. The Players Wild Broadway series wishes you a Merry Christmas with the 1940s Radio Hour.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. Topping our news this half hour, police in South Florida believe 3 cow abuse suspects may have left the country. Investigators think video released online of the incident may be to blame. And we want to warn you, some of the footage may be disturbing to some viewers. Reporter Maxine Bensel has more from Okeechobee County.
The bad guys knew we were looking for them before we knew who the bad guys were.
3 bad guys on the run after the release of this video that appears to show cows being abused at Larson Dairy Farm. The video was shot by the Animal Recovery Mission, or ARM, and the sheriff says it wasn't turned in soon enough.
I think that it's a discredit to myself and my agency in the way that this was reported.
The video was released online November 9th, but it wasn't until then that the sheriff says he saw it. ARM told CBS 12 they reported the abuse first to several federal agencies prior to going public, but never the sheriff's office. Stephen says once the video was released, ARM did turn in 350 hours of additional footage they shot undercover at Larson Dairy, but now they need more from the animal rights group.
The individuals from the ARM and their investigator that took the video, we had to subpoena them before they'll come talk to us and give us their information.
ARM says they were subpoenaed and have been trying to give evidence to the sheriff's office for weeks, but that the meetings keep getting rescheduled.
We need to find out that these facts, the facts and the circumstances when this video was obtained. Is there any other facts? There's no timeline with this 350 hours of footage that we've received.
The sheriff said more information about the video and the incident is needed to prove a criminal case. Interviews are scheduled with the Animal Recovery Mission this week. Just yesterday, the CEO of Southeast Milk Incorporated said in a press conference that both farms are on probationary status and they're taking corrective actions.
SMI will hold 4 comprehensive remedial management trainings for farm owners and operators the week of December the 11th. These remedial trainings will be mandatory for all of our members and will reinforce the importance of employee supervision.
Sleeper says they'll also work at introducing video surveillance at all member farms to help ensure animals are being treated respectfully and humanely all hours of the day and at all locations of the farms. A new report shows Florida taxpayers have paid more than $11 million in the past 30 years to settle sexual harassment cases. This includes more than 300 cases involving allegations of sexual harassment or hostile work environment. The state chief financial officer releasing the reports detailing payments ranging from a $5,000 payment made to a university scholarship student to more than $1 million to settle a class action lawsuit filed by nurses at state prisons. The U.S. Supreme Court is refusing to take up a challenge to a Florida law that prevents people from openly carrying firearms in public. This ends a case that started nearly 6 years ago when a man was arrested in St. Lucie County for walking around with a gun in his holster with a concealed weapons license. State lawmakers have proposed measures that would allow people with concealed weapons licenses to openly carry firearms, but the measures have not passed because of opposition in the state Senate. The remains of a Florida man who had been missing since September has been found in a trash can. Investigators said they identified Ryan McClellan through dental records. The remains were found Saturday in a wooded lot in Homosassa, which is north of Tampa. Neighbors say the trash can had been in the area since the week of Hurricane Irma. Military families here in Florida are getting free Christmas trees all the way from Michigan. Growers from across that state make the donations every year, and about 700 of the trees were shipped out this time around. Service members from all branches of the military came to show their support at an annual event.
I have a special bond to as you say, my brothers and sisters of the Armed Forces. I consider myself still to be a soldier at heart, and so the bonds are very close, and we look out for each other.
This year, the trees came from the Wamoff Farms in Gobles, Michigan. 20 veterans are now part of the Florida Veterans Hall of Fame thanks to Governor Rick Scott. They were inducted yesterday. The Hall of Fame recognizes and honors military veterans who have made a significant contribution to the state of Florida through civic, business, or public service. And for more updates on state and local news, please download the latest updated version of our news app. Now, iPhone users need to go to the App Store and re-download this app to search for WWSB or My Suncoast, because that old app will expire on Thursday. So be sure you do that before the end of the month. Now to what could be a major development in the Russia investigation. There are new indications former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn may be trying to make a deal with Special Counsel Robert Mueller. Flynn faces jail time for allegedly lying about his foreign connections while National Security Advisor. Now it appears he could be ready to talk. ABC's Maggie Rulli has the latest on a potential key witness in this case.
An early supporter of President Trump.
Lock her up.
Now it appears former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn may be making a deal as Flynn faces the prospect of jail time and that both he and his son could be prosecuted. On Monday morning, Flynn's lawyer met with the special counsel's team, a sign of a possible plea deal that could make Flynn a government witness in the Russia investigation. The president has supported Flynn in the past.
And I don't think he did anything wrong. If anything, he did something right.
Defending him even after Flynn was forced out of the Trump administration for lying about his contacts with the Russians. And former FBI Director James Comey says the president, in private, asked him to let the Flynn investigation go.
I understood him to be saying that what he wanted me to do was drop any investigation connected to Flynn's account of his conversations with the Russians.
But that investigation continued, and now people briefed on the case say Flynn might be ready to talk. His lawyer recently cut off communication with the White House, and he already told Congress General Flynn certainly has a story to tell, and he very much wants to tell it should the circumstances permit. Later this week, the special counsel is expected to question another longtime member of President Trump's team, White House Communications Director Hope Hicks. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
A former Punta Gorda police officer is suing the city to get his pension. Lee Cole was fired after he accidentally shot and killed a retired librarian during a shoot, don't shoot demonstration last year. A police officer's pension board voted unanimously in July to deny Cole disability benefits. Cole said he suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder and has asked the board now to reconsider. His trial in the death of 73-year-old Mary Knowlton is expected to happen sometime next year. Happening today in Bradenton, the fundraiser to help those less fortunate. Turning Points Manatee is hosting a Home is Where the Heart Is fundraising dinner. The benefit will help raise operating funds needed to help keep up with the demands for their services, ranging from basic needs like showers and haircuts to rental assistance or even medical care. If you want to help the community and have fewer homeless on the streets this holiday season, you can help out by going to the event tonight. It's at IMG Academy Golf Club beginning at 6 p.m. and that's on Conquistador Parkway in Bradenton. The Englewood Lemon Bay Sunrise Rotary Club is hoping to pack more than 100,000 meals in only 2 hours this Saturday. All those meals will then be given to 5 area food banks. This is part of the club's annual Holidays Without Hunger event. Overall, Meals of Hope has a regional goal of packing 1 million meals in December. If you would like to volunteer from 9 to 11 in the morning on Saturday, you can do it at the Englewood campus of Sky Academy. That's a big job, but I'm sure they'll get plenty of help to do it.
I hope so. Plenty of hungry people in this town.
There are, yeah. Well, a nice day today, another one on the Suncoast, but I guess the temperature, humidity levels creeping up a little bit.
A little bit, but it still won't be bad. It won't be, summer-like. Yeah. So I'll take it any day of the week. A lot of blue sky out there, too. I particularly like that. It's a gorgeous sky viewing at night with pretty clear skies for the most part. Lakewood Ranch webcam put into motion shows how blue that sky was as the sun rose. A few fair weather clouds beginning to move in, but not too terribly bad, actually. These fair weather clouds will probably become more noticeable over the next several days as areas of disturbed weather out in the Gulf and a general easterly wind flow all combine together to enhance our cloud coverage and to perhaps bring us a little bit more moisture over time. Rain showers really not in the cards for us along the coastline here, but inland communities, as we progress through the next couple of days, might see an isolated shower or two. But near the coast, don't think so. We'll look for a daytime high today that probably tops out around 83 or so. and we'll have a very pleasant evening with mostly clear skies and temperatures that drop down into the 70s. Should be all around an absolutely spectacular evening tonight and an overnight as well. Next several days will feature a few more clouds around, which we will talk about in detail in just a few minutes. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. Today marks the one-year anniversary of the deadly Gatlinburg fires in Tennessee. That's where 14 people died when winds pushed fires through Gatlinburg, destroying more than 2,000 homes and buildings. Gatlinburg's fire chief said the winds were so intense it was like trying to fight a fire in a tornado. Entire neighborhoods were evacuated on very short notice. Insurance claims have approached $1 billion. People are still rebuilding homes, businesses, and community sites, including churches. Prosecutors dropped charges against 2 juveniles who were accused of starting the fires originally. Investigators found there were several fires originating in different places. Clouds of volcanic smoke continue to spew from Mount Agung in Bali. The eruptions began Saturday, sending ash more than 29,000 feet into the sky, and there could be more to come. Bali officials have issued a level 4 alert. That's the highest possible. The main airport on the resort island has been closed until tomorrow at least, leaving more than 50,000 tourists stranded, while 30,000 residents near the volcano have been evacuated. Authorities say up to 100,000 remain in the danger zone. Pope Francis is on the second day of his historic trip to Myanmar. The Pope is being closely watched for the way he addresses Myanmar's violent crackdown on its Muslim Rohingya minority, which the U.S. has called ethnic cleansing. Now, the Pope is avoiding the term Rohingya, but is calling for religious tolerance. The very word Rohingya is a politically charged word there. The Burmese authorities don't like people using it, and for that reason, he did not. Still to come in your Suncoast News, ABC7 talked to actress Sophia Bush about philanthropy and Giving Tuesday. That's next.
Being the caregiver for my husband is truly a blessing, but sometimes it's easy to lose a part of myself. To be my best, for him and for me, it's important to have time to be able to recharge. When I called Tidewell Hospice,
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline if you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death. You must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So we are looking at an 81-degree air temperature, a lot of sunshine out there, few fair weather clouds. Dew point value higher at about 65, and an east-southeast wind coming in at about 15. Breezy this afternoon with that easterly wind flow. Temperatures consequently, because of that wind flow, are fairly uniform across the region. We've got 80 degrees in Wauchula, 80 degrees Lakewood Ranch, 80 degrees in Bradenton Parish, Myakka, Arcadia, North, but you get the picture. Because of the winds kind of stirring up the atmosphere and keeping things fairly uniform from inland to coastline. I think most of us will see a daytime high temperature today that'll be in the lower 80s to mid 80s, somewhere around in there. Pretty warm for this time of year. We have a little cloud cover as well from time to time. One little bank kind of swinging through right now. We'll then probably have some clearer skies after that. Mostly the high thin clouds coming at us from the southwest, and then the kind of lower mid-level clouds coming in from the Atlantic. I don't think we're going to see any rainfall today. It's just not going to happen. Just not in the cards. High pressure, the dominant weather feature, bringing us that dry sinking air at mid-levels, kind of removing the rainfall chance for us today. But over the next several days, as we have this easterly wind flow and we develop more moisture in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, it might support a few showers kind of making their way across the entire peninsula, mostly in inland areas, eastern Hardee, DeSoto, eastern Charlotte counties. We're not going to see a whole lot along the coastline. We stay pretty dry, really right straight through the 7-day period. Nothing going on in the northeast in terms of weather, just a few areas of snow flurries in the northeast. Mostly it's a wind situation back to the west today. That high pressure ridge located where it is, it kind of pushes a fairly strong wind through some of these mountain passes. Along the northeastern coast of Oregon and Washington State, still getting some showers there, as you probably will for the next couple of months. High pressure, the dominant weather feature for us, brings us that easterly wind flow. A few scattered showers along the east coast. Better chances of rainfall the closer you get to this kind of trough of low pressure that runs from east to west right through the Florida Straits. So the southern tip of the state gets kind of an enhanced rainfall chance. But for us, warmer temperatures, slightly increased afternoon humidities, but dry for the most part through the remainder of the week. Titan radar not showing much of anything going on across the country except in those spots that I did briefly mention. Locally, we're seeing those showers down to the south, affecting mostly areas of the Florida Keys and the east coast of the state. The futurecast shows occasionally some cloud cover comes along, and maybe one or two of these showers might try to make their way across the entire state, mostly from Fort Myers south. But all in all, it is a pretty spectacular forecast, really. A northeast wind at about 10 to 15 throughout the remainder of the afternoon into the evening hours. Moderate chop on bay and inland waters with 2-foot seas. And the forecast looks just great. Daytime highs in the low 80s. A front comes through on Friday and knocks down the temperature a few degrees. Otherwise, each and every day is absolutely spectacular. Scott?
All right, thank you so much, John. Well, this is the 6th year of Giving Tuesday, and on the global movement is meant to unite countries and organizations around the world. And this is one day after Cyber Monday. It is Giving Tuesday, and it's an opportunity to give back to local, national, and international charities and get involved in your own community. ABC7 spoke to actress and human rights activist Sophia Bush today, and she says today is everyone's opportunity to give back.
You can search anything that you're passionate about. Is it education? Is it cancer research? Is it the environment? And you can make a donation on behalf of someone, on behalf of yourself, on behalf of your whole family. And it's a really, really nice way to get started and help you kind of cut through all the noise.
This is the 6th year of Giving Tuesday, and again, the movement is meant to unite countries and organizations around the globe. While the media frequently characterizes millennials as lazy and selfish, a new survey suggests they are raising the next generation of philanthropic superheroes. The survey from Give.org of over 1,000 American parents finds 50% of millennial parents always research charities before donating, far more than any other generation. That compares to 37% of both Gen X and baby boomers. The survey also revealed more than half of millennials are talking to their children about charities, and of those, nearly half say social media sparked the conversation.
We always looked at millennials as a group that we wanted to emulate us, but in terms of giving to charities and researching charitable organizations before giving, we need to emulate them.
The top 4 charity types millennials are talking about with their children: disaster relief, animal protection, health, and the environment. The Florida Department of Agriculture has a Check a Charity option on its website. You can go to floridaconsumerhelp.com to view a charity's financial information. Watch out for scams. Frequently bogus charities will exploit a recent natural disaster or tragedy, such as a hurricane, and promise to use the donations to help victims. And keep good records. Always save a printed copy of a donation or a receipt showing the amount of your contribution. And some local students raising money to help those impacted by Hurricane Maria. Philippi Shores Elementary students recently held a jump roping event to raise money for a school in Puerto Rico. The event raised more than $10,000. That's a lot of jump roping. Americans purchased new homes last month at the fastest pace in a decade. The increase reflects both the underlying strength of the economy and the fact that many buyers are turning to new construction because of the shrinking supply of existing homes available for sale. Much of the sales growth came from the Northeast and Midwest, with the South and West of the country posting smaller increases. And if you're wondering how long it takes to sell a home these days, well, it's about 3 weeks now, according to the National Association of Realtors. 5 years ago, the median number of days on market was almost 4 times that long. Low housing supply has pushed up home prices and created multiple offer situations and bidding wars even throughout the country. Still to come in your Suncoast News, Grammy nominations are out. We'll let you know who's likely to take home the most prizes coming up.
When evaluating the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, Car and Driver magazine said every crossover should be this good to drive. We agree. Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
What to do when your heating or air conditioning needs service or, heaven forbid, replacement? Call Air Now today. We've been serving Sarasota and Manatee County since 1946. We offer $49.95 tune-ups, lease or finance options, and remember, service today or it's free.
Get the best Black Friday deals right now during the Black Friday sales event at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Shop the area's largest selection of new Jeep Wranglers. Get KBV's 2017 Best Buy Award overall winner, the Chrysler Pacifica, for as little as $24,999. Or be one of the first to drive away in a 2018 Jeep Cherokee for as little as $19,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota today.
Do you have type 2 diabetes, which requires daily blood monitoring? If you have diabetes, are you on Medicare, Obamacare, or other health insurance? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for diabetic testing supplies at little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. Our accredited staff will handle all of your paperwork for free. And best of all, your diabetic testing supplies are shipped directly to your home for free. Call now to see if you qualify for a meter upgrade and a free pedometer to monitor your daily walking. Use alternate testing sites, a smaller blood sample, and even hear your results out loud. Will you qualify for diabetic testing supplies and an upgraded meter covered by Medicare, Obamacare, or health insurance at little to no out-of-pocket cost to you?
Find out for free by calling the Diabetes Resource Center at 1-800-394-1098. That's 1-800-394-1098, 1-800-394-1098.
It's time to take a road trip.
Huntsville is a must-see destination. Is this your stop?
Roger.
Marvel at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. Wow. Step into the past at Alabama Constitution Village. All aboard! The golf is stellar, and even the food is out of this world in the Rocket City. Alabama has a road trip with your name on it.
Which one you gonna take?
All right, crew, let's get started. Sure.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Keep up with the Suncoast. Watch your favorite ABC7 shows on your streaming device.
Auto Trader recently said Stelvio can spring from a standstill to 60 miles per hour in 5.4 seconds. A segment best. You deserve the best. Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
The 60th annual Grammy nominations are here, and the major categories were dominated by artists of color. Album of the Year nominees include Childish Gambino, Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, Lorde, and Bruno Mars. The Latin single Despacito keeps its winning streak alive by snagging nominations for both Song of the Year and Record of the Year. SZA is the woman with the most Grammy nominations with 5 nods, including Best New Artist and Best R&B Song. For a full list of Grammy nominations, you can check out those on our website. Look for this story at mysuncoast.com. Some great news for Greta Gerwig's directing debut of the movie Lady Bird. The independent film about a mother and daughter just became the best reviewed movie ever on Rotten Tomatoes. It even beat out Toy Story 2. Must be really good. When it comes to setting fashion trends, Meghan Markle is already following in the footsteps of her future sister-in-law. The white-belted coat she wore yesterday after announcing her engagement to Prince Harry is now a hot commodity. It's from the Canadian label called Line. Admirers crashed the clothing company's website searching for it, and the more than $600 coat is now sold out. Dictionary.com has revealed its word of the year for 2017, and it's complicit. The site defines complicit as choosing to be involved in an illegal or questionable act and having partnership or involvement in wrongdoing. Interest in the word spiked in March when Saturday Night Live aired a fake commercial for complicit perfume. A month later, President Trump's daughter Ivanka told CBS that she didn't know what it meant to be complicit. And complicit has also come up in the wake of allegations of sexual misconduct by Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein and other powerful men. Complicit, the word of the year, I guess.
What the next word will be. Incarceration, maybe. Especially for Mr. Weinstein and a few others. I don't know. I speak out of turn.
Yep.
Anyway, we have some changing weather down the road, but for the next 7 days, it looks great. It looks the same as always.
Okay, John. Thanks so much. Thank you for joining us. Have a great afternoon, everyone.